Hey guys, welcome to Live Talks. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit about some peer pressure and then the pressure of school. So stay tuned for more. Welcome back to another one. Thanks for joining us once again on Live Talks this week. What's going on, Alan?
Man, I tell you what, I'm this close to the end of the semester.
I understand that. I feel that on a very dear level.
The next 2 weeks are like
Life or death.
exactly future of career
Yeah.
dependent.
I guess it goes for both of us, I guess.
Yep.
Either way.
So it's been a long week preparing, but it was a good week. We started with a good week Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Crawfish, hallelujah.
Yeah. So for everybody that is wondering, we went to where Leaksville. Is that correct?
Right, yes, Leaksville.
Went to Leaksville Friday night, and I was the smart one about it and made it back home by about 1:30.
Yeah, I was super smart.
How smart were you on that one?
Have a good time. Enjoy your youth. And then I actually acted like a teenager for once.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed out till... Well, I didn't leave that area till around 3, but I didn't go to sleep until around like 4:20, 4:30.
So how'd that affect you the next day?
It really didn't affect me at all. I stayed tired anyway. That just made it a little worse. Slept for 5 or 6 hours and back at it again. So it wasn't too bad, but it was pretty fun.
Saturday helped you get over it though, right?
Yeah, every Saturday helps me get over the week, especially this past one, though.
So we boiled crawfish, as Connor just mentioned. Man.
Glory.
How much did we boil?
It was, I don't know.
Close to 60?
Let's see. I can tell you exactly. I got it in my note. Right, 69 pounds, yeah.
Right at 70 pounds of crawfish.
Yeah, 69 pounds of crawfish.
How did we do on making it through all of them?
Oh, I don't know. I sit there and eat slow. But
Well, I know the first bag we tore up, so the first 34 pounds.
yeah, that went through in about 20 minutes. They were gone. And it was, let's see, 9 of us? I could be
Something
counting
like
wrong.
that.
Yeah, it was my family, you, and then 3 more people. And so we got rid of them pretty quick. That second batch, not as fast. I don't even think we finished them, but no worries. I will enjoy them after church tonight. Battered up in some hot grease, some flour, and some Tony's Creole, sachet, whatever you want to call it.
I like fried crawfish, but to me, they're better when they're boiled.
I love them either way. I love boiled crawfish, fried crawfish, crawfish in your gumbo. Just about any way you could have it. So, crawfish.
Mud bugs.
Love them.
Mud bugs. Oh, some of them were pretty good size, too.
Yeah, for a medium sack of crawfish, they're pretty decent size.
So if anybody wants crawfish, hit us up.
Yep,
Come spend the day
long as you're paying, we're boiling.
Come spend the day at Life Talks with a crawfish boil.
Yeah.
Sponsored by us.
Yeah.
Well, you do the sponsoring.
No. Not that far. Yeah, I'm actually...
we'll host it if you sponsor it.
I'm actually thinking about possibly doing something like that, just for the youth here at the church. Get them come to the house one day.
$1.29 a pound.
Yeah. They were pretty good.
A lot better than $10 a pound.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them that high.
I mean, if you go to a restaurant, you buy them. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Like that, you're going to pay through the roof.
if it's not during crawfish season.
But
Right.
that was pretty good. We've come a long ways. You could ask my good friend Gabe. When me and him first started last year, I don't know if you was there the first time we boiled them or not. You might have been. But me and Gabe tried boiling some one day, and it was not good.
I think y'all did it first, and then after that, it was me and you pretty much.
Yeah, and then he come back one last time, and we boiled some. But yesterday,
Yeah, so those crawfish, they were really good.
no, them crawfish were nasty. But the ones yesterday,
Well, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay,
is
yeah.
that- yeah.
the ones yesterday they were pretty good compared to my first couple go rounds. But anyway, that's besides the point. Just crawfish are my life.
So what do we got for today?
Well, someone mentioned through our Instagram page, I think, we should talk about peer pressure. So
Peer pressure.
we're not psychiatrists or what's the other ones out there?
Psychologist.
Psychologists. We're not doctors at all, but we'll give our go at it. See if we can help somebody. We're not. You're the only one going for a doctor degree anyway.
Yeah, but it's
Not in that field.
It's in science, so I mean,
So
it's
we'll see if
it's
we
a
can-
little bit different there.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see if we can
Dissect it.
dissect peer pressure.
So what do you think peer pressure is?
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. But when I got to kind of looking into it, the definition,
Mhm.
surprisingly, I found a good overview of peer pressure on Wikipedia.
You know, I started in the same place, was looking at the definition.
Because, Wikipedia, it's not the best. Okay, I'll give it that.
Let me
But
just let me
it
pause you
overview
right
it.
here before we really get deep into this. If you ever use Wikipedia in your education field, okay, that is cool, but don't cite it.
Yeah, don't cite it.
Use its citations.
But it
Just
does have some good stuff.
just a pet peeve of mine, but it's really good for getting a general overview about topics.
But so once I got to looking for peer pressure, and of course it's going to pop up Wikipedia, and so it said it is the direct influence on people by peers or the effect on an individual who is encouraged and wants to follow their peers by changing their attitudes, values, or behaviors to conform to those of the influencing group or individual. So it gave a pretty good overview of peer pressure overall. Yeah, because I think is pretty well said in this overview. Because peer pressure, eventually it's going to change. If you give into it, it's going to change your attitude, your values, behaviors. You're going to conform to whatever you're being pushed to conform to. So it's kind of a tongue twister, but I think it was a pretty good overview of peer pressure.
Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing I found. And so I think there is several different ways that peer pressure comes to us nowadays compared to in the past. And
A lot of different ways.
one way that the very first thing that came across my mind that can cause peer pressure, or that we may not necessarily cause, but we may let it. And I went back to the episode with Pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and what came across my mind was social media.
Right. That honestly didn't even come across mine at first.
Social
But
media.
it is a very big impact.
So, Pastor discussed that people are always posting on what they're doing, where they're going, and we let that get a hold of us and like, oh, well, I got to do this, and I need to do this. Right? And so we try to go along the same path. And if we're not accomplishing the goals that we see maybe somebody else is accomplishing on social media, well, then
Yeah.
we get all tore up about it.
See, I feel like now that you mention it, I didn't think about it earlier while digging into this, but peer pressure has changed from the sense of, how would you say it?
Maybe the format it's presented in.
Well, that, but it's not only no more just it's not going to hurt to take you a sip of this or get a puff of that. It's no longer just stuff like that. It comes in many different ways.
Yeah.
Because when you look up peer pressure on Google, some of the stuff that pops up says peer pressure to alcohol, drugs, stuff like that. But it's more than just that. It's a whole lot more than just and them three are very important subjects of their own. But peer pressure, to me, comes in many different forms than just drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes, stuff of that nature.
And one thing that I think we have to be careful about is how we necessarily define peer pressure ourselves, because we let things act as being peer pressure towards us when in reality, if it's not coming from a peer, then it's technically not peer pressure.
Yeah.
Right?
Hence the name.
Exactly. So, if things are bothering you from, say, something that you think, oh, that's not a peer of mine, well then, are you sure? What really is your peers? Maybe you need to check yourself and see what you deem as important to yourself. What do you look at that? And I'm trying to think of the way to say it here. But what do you look at to guide your life after?
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of stuck in my mind today was, the crowd that you follow.
Exactly. There you go.
Who you hanging around?
That's it.
Who's your influence, I guess.
If you're having problems with something that you say there's not somebody you hang around with, then it's really not peer pressure, unless they really are your peers.
Yeah.
Maybe you just don't realize they are.
I kind of wrote down, because, the peer pressure that the secular world faces, yes, as apostolic young people, we face some of the same, but it's not always the same. As I said earlier, I would hope in an apostolic youth group that you're not being peer pressured into drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. But although that is peer pressure in those categories, I would hope that's not the case. And I don't feel like a lot of apostolic young people face those particular types of peer pressure.
Right.
It would be to, personally, for what I feel like, is peer pressure that we face as Pentecostal young people, apostolic young people, is go against those in charge sometimes. Do what we know we're not supposed to do. That can include a whole variety of things. But stuff like that, not necessarily the hardcore peer pressure that the world makes it out to look like.
Yep. It's one of those things that we look at, and it's as if something is holding us to a higher standard. And when I think about it, it's like the standard's up here, and if you don't make it up here and you're just right below it, then you feel that I'm not good enough.
Right, social status.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
This is what's expected of me. I've put my all into it. I didn't make that point. But now I'm at this place where I'm upset with myself. I'm not as good as I thought I was. When in reality, when you're doing your best, that's all, your best will always, in my mind, and I don't know what you think about this, but if you're putting your all into it and you're doing your best and whatever, it will be good enough.
Yeah, we put too many limits on ourselves. Limits in a bad way, that we can't do it unless it's like this. We're never good enough unless we're achieving this certain status. And some of that is just people we hang around, or people we see, rather. Hey, they're doing this, and if I ain't doing it just like that, it ain't right. Or it's not good enough. But, we're all created to be ourselves. So you got to look at it like that. That's kind of not really the peer pressure part to me, but it's still good. because you're always looking up to somebody else to judge yourself.
Right, exactly. You know, I kind of think about Peter, and you know, I know it wasn't all due to peer pressure here, and I want to make that clear up front, because I'm not trying to take anything out of context. But I think about Peter sometimes when he was, you know, at the crucifixion of Jesus, and here he is, all these people. Oh, aren't you one of his followers?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, no, that wasn't me. No. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you. No.
It wasn't me.
That wasn't me, definitely. You know, and so here you have Peter, and you have all this crowd. Was there maybe something in his mind that there was just too much pressure around him? And maybe not necessarily peer pressure, but there was just too much pressure around him. That, I mean, we know that wasn't it. The Lord had done said, you're going to deny me.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just due to pressure. There was a lot more behind it. But do you think that maybe that had some kind of influence? Or maybe he exhibited that in some form?
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible that played somewhat of a part. Like you say, he knew it was going to happen in the first place, but I'm pretty sure the influence of the people he was around might have had something to do with it. But I'm no Bible theologian here, so I wouldn't be able to say 100% sure. But
that's just one of the first things that comes to my mind when I think about peer pressure.
Well, I was thinking something probably totally different from what most people think peer pressure. Once I got to thinking about it, after I thought about it hard, you know, you have positive and negative peer pressure, but the positive never gets talked about. Never.
Yeah, so up to this point, we've kind of been discussing all the negative peer pressure, right?
Yeah, but positive peer pressure never gets... When I think of positive peer pressure, that constant encouragement, I think that'd be a positive peer pressure. You're constantly encouraging somebody.
You can do it even though you feel like you can't. You're under pressure that you're not.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, even in the past week, I've talked to people who our age, who are going through some of the same stuff me and you talk about throughout the week, and you would never know it.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, oh, wow. So, you know, if you had that positive encouragement.
When somebody comes up and they're like, man, I feel exactly the same way. And you're like,
really?
Oh, I'm not the only one.
But, I mean, I wouldn't know how to describe peer pressure in a good way besides encouraging somebody or being a help to them. That might not even make sense, being positive peer pressure, but tell me what you think.
You know, in a way, yes. And two, you know, we maybe, and so this is what's coming across in my mind. This is kind of going back to what I mentioned earlier. If the bar is set here, and you do your best, say the Lord wants you, He sets this bar for you to reach here.
Mm-hmm.
Say the first time you do your best you get here, and you don't make it all the way.
Right.
Well, the pressure from your peers, right? So say somebody that's been in church for a while comes back in, it's like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. You know, you've got what it takes to obtain where He wants you to be. And so here they pressure you to come back in and let's try it again.
Right.
And the next time you get a little bit higher. And the next time a little bit higher. And the next time a little bit higher. Until you reach and go past that point. And then the peer pressure is raised to somewhere else. But at the same time, you have, like you just said, that encouragement, the positive peer pressure coming in. You can do this. You know, it's not easy. You can make it. You know, if it was all easy, well, I mean, then
When you think about pressure and peer pressure in general, not only is encouragement a good part of positive peer pressure, but standing up against something that you know is right is positive peer pressure. Because if you think about it, if you're with a group of people and you know something's about to go down that shouldn't go down, it's not right to go down. Because you got our audience is young people like me and you. If we know it shouldn't go down, shouldn't be happening, you're the one to step up and say, no, we shouldn't be doing this. It's peer pressure. Because you're pressuring them not to do it.
Yep.
But it's positive because it's not right, and you're trying to keep them from going the wrong direction, doing the wrong thing.
So this may sound crazy, okay? But this is just when you're dealing with people that do science for every day of their life, all right?
Science, bro.
It's almost like positive and negative pressure all at the same time, all right? If I put a nitrogen line in something, okay, and there's nitrogen, or say air, okay, so let's just use airflow.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting air into a tire, that's positive pressure.
Right.
Right.
Releasing it would be
So
negative, huh?
Right. It coming out of the tank would be negative. So if you're standing in the group and you're standing up for what's right, you're putting positive peer pressure on them.
Mm.
But what's coming out of you is going to be the negative peer pressure from them wanting to do what you're trying to keep them from doing.
Gotta say, that's about the best science example I've ever understood from you. It's basic, but I got it.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
And so your group around you is going to be the negative peer pressure impacting on you.
Makes
where
a lot of
you're
sense.
exhibiting the positive peer pressure to say, no, let's not do this.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
That's my science lesson for today.
Don't, please, if you're listening, don't think we got this figured out. This is not our area. But, hey, we're here to discuss what you want to hear. So we're trying it. But, it's good to have friends who are grounded. It really is good to have friends who are grounded in what we believe. I'm sure we both got lots of friends that are grounded. It can be that encouragement we need when we need it.
Yeah, because, sometimes it seems like your footing can get kind of shaky. Or sometimes it feels like it.
Yeah.
There's been days it's been like, man, I just don't know if I can hold up to all the pressure.
I'm always the type of person, like, if somebody crosses my mind, like, I should text them and encourage them. I'm like, nah, they probably wouldn't enjoy me texting them. But then when you see them, the next time you see them in person, be like, man, I had you on my mind, thought about you. I was going to text you. I said, man, you should have. I was facing this. I was like, well. So I've tried to make myself, if I feel like I got somebody on my mind, praying for them, maybe I should text them. But, hey, there you go right there. Prime example, Nathan, this morning. I'm not good at texting, but it wasn't here. And I texted him. I said, hey, man, missing you. Missed you this morning as we're still in service. Missed you. I didn't know if he was going to get here or not, but I'm trying to do better.
Yeah, so this is a little bit off subject here, but
go ahead. We ain't got much longer, so go ahead.
Sort of the same thing kind of happened to me a little bit while back. It was the craziest thing, all right? I know there's nothing to this. Nobody freak you out, but, like, there was, like, a 6-month period where it'd be somebody I know or have heard of and hadn't thought about or talked to in a long time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd just be going about my day, and that person randomly crossed my mind. Like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. Blah, 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 blah. And then, bro, I'm telling you, within a week later, I'd get a call like, oh, so-and-so died. And I'm like,
oh, no.
Are you serious?
If you think about me, you better call me.
And so then I'm like,
maybe I should have called.
Maybe these people that are coming to my mind, I ought to actually start praying for instead of just thinking about them. Legit, that happened with like 2 or 3 people.
I I'm glad I wasn't one of the three.
One of them was my neighbor back home.
Mm.
It was just like, oh, I wonder what so-and-so's doing. And then it was like a week later, I called my mom. She's like, yeah, so-and-so died. It's like, that's scary.
All I can say is if you got me on your mind like that, you better call. Oh, man. I know we're off topic now.
That's about the only instances related to what you're saying is.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, I've had times where I've thought about people and I've encouraged them as well. You know, but that happened back last year a couple times. I was just like, this is kind of strange. Well, so now when I think of somebody like that, I start praying for them because I'm like, maybe, you know, maybe they just need a touch.
They need it. That was kind of... That's strong right there. I'm glad God dealt with you like that, not me.
I don't know if it was the Lord or not. I'm just saying. It's like a person come across my mind, and then...
Back to my first statement. If you think about me like that, at least call me.
Lathan, I'm thinking about you. Not in that way.
Well, that was our peer pressure for the day.
No pressure, everybody.
You know, right now, I feel like we kind of struggle with our podcast. We've been trying to be devoted to it. Man, this last month has been kicking our hides.
I know it. We've got so many people that's like, man, y'all are doing good.
Yeah, and we're like, no.
That's that positive peer pressure coming from them. We're like, man, we got to get this out.
Some of them was at the house before I come up here today, and I was trying to actually take a break from everything I was doing. I started looking into it a little bit, and it's like, y'all actually study for each podcast? I was like, well, we try. I said, we try our best.
Yeah.
I was like, most time it just flows best when we just have a normal conversation.
Yeah,
so. Unless
it's one of the random episodes where we just chit-chat.
Yeah, talk. That's what this is kind of turning into.
It's really good when you have somebody else to talk to and discuss it back and forth. Because different viewpoints on everything just really, really helps.
Yep, it does.
It really helps.
Me and Alan are not facing peer pressure right now. It's the pressure of school.
Yeah,
we're dealing with.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got 3 weeks until he's done with a semester.
2 or 3 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think. I couldn't.
I have 2 weeks to finish semester.
When they tell me the semester's over with or examinations are over with, I'm like, oh, the semester's over with. That's pretty much how it goes for me.
I got until the 29th. Then it's over.
Because I have my research defense and a paper due this week, and then next week I got a paper and an exam.
If you're in school out there, college especially, we feel you this month. It's coming down to the wire.
There is a substantial amount of pressure, peer pressure.
I've just made a mindset. I have a test that's not required for this college course, but I'm going to take it anyway. I take it Tuesday. And yes, I need it for what I'm going for. It's a bunch of dates and numbers.
Oh, that's awful.
And then it's a bunch of laws on it. So I've made up my mind. I'm going to glance over the material. But since I have one retake, I'm going to take the first one, kind of get a feel for how the test goes, because we don't know how the test actually goes.
You still want to do your best on the first one. I'm just going to throw that out there, Connor.
You still want to do your best.
You still want to put all
and
the
if I
effort
pass
into
it, I'm happy.
There you go.
Very happy.
There you go.
But if I don't, I'm still happy.
Because you got another shot.
Because I got another shot. No, it shouldn't be too hard. But
just because you have a second chance doesn't mean you want to take it.
No. But it is nice if you got a second chance. I will give it that.
Because that's how it was.
It's really not helping me because it's all coming out of my pocket here. Paying for it. But, oh, man, the pressure's on.
You know, I had an exam for coming into school, the GRE. People that may be going on to grad school may know what I'm talking about. But like, that test was like $200 and something bucks.
Yeah.
And I had friends like, oh, I only got a 300, but I need a 301, so I'm going to take it again. And I'm like,
no.
And I'm like, I'm just going to pray and hope that 1 point's not going to make a difference because I'm not paying another $250 to take it again.
Yeah, that's what Tuesday's going to be. Not going to see Connor pass out Tuesday evening. Like, what happened to him? Well, it's going to be a little bit of prayer and fasting because I know what's going to happen when I get on that test. I'm going to draw a blank.
Is it multiple choice?
I think.
I don't do good on multiple choice exams.
I'm a hands-on person. If it's a test where I go in and actually fix something in our shop, I'll ace it. You give me a paper test or a multiple choice test, I'm through. I'm going to fail. And my study buddy, Quizlet, doesn't have any of this on it. So,
You can make your own Quizlet, so you should study, pick out the important parts, put it on there, and then make a Quizlet out of it.
I'm going to let you come sit with me and go through all 300 slides on that PowerPoint. I don't feel like it. Yes, 300 slides.
But you've had let's think about this. How long have you known about that you need to take this exam?
No, I've known, I guess, since about February.
Okay, so February.
But I didn't get the actual PowerPoint until last month, which is
Okay.
no room for excuse. Either way, I just don't think about it.
So you got the PowerPoint last week. So
No, not last week.
Last month. Okay, last month, right? And so how many days has it been from the PowerPoint to the exam?
That's a good question.
Let's just say 40.
We're going to pass it, though.
So 300, how many slides?
It's over 300.
Let's just say 300.
Dude, but here's the catch with all this. This is emission laws.
7.5 slides a day. That's all you need to cover.
Emission laws about things that have been banned since the 70s.
Don't you know that's important?
No, it's really not. It's really not. If you can't use it no more, well, I don't get it, but oh well.
Don't you know you're not supposed to use decon?
Dude, these people from California make this up. I have no clue what they got going on.
I hope our people on the podcast know what decon is.
I feel like I'm supposed to know, but
You don't know what decon is?
no.
What's this world coming to?
It's
a rat poison, dude. It's a rat poison that actually works. You could put decon in meat and kill a coyote with it.
I'm really just a southern boy with my guns, hunting, maybe a little fishing. I don't care about what laws are being passed for emission. That does not faze me. When everybody gets battery powered cars in a couple years, and then they all start messing up, I feel like I will be happy because
you're the reason for the greenhouse effect. No kidding.
Yeah. I know on this test I got coming up, it's one of the bigger subjects on it is going to be about chlorine in the atmosphere. Either way, though, this has really got really random. Nothing to do with peer pressure.
So this whole podcast has been about peer pressure, all right? And so we hope everybody understood. Have a great day. And I think you'll really get some good use out of all of our peer pressure talks. What do you think?
They might. I hope. We're just covering the peer pressure that was asked to be covered, and then since we're facing school right now,
yeah, things that come to our mind, and the things, and the
it's really rare. It's really hard to make ourselves get together right now.
So we are at April the 18th. All right. So we are. Let's see how far away from. Not next week's episode, but the following week. All right, so not the 19th, which is today's episode, and not the 26th, which is next week, but the 3rd.
Yeah.
We will have our third guest.
We're going to have them.
Because that's
going to be a good week.
That'll be the first of the month.
That's going to be a real good week.
So, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Be sure.
Be looking.
Stay tuned.
All 300 of y'all out there proclaiming. All 300.
Speaking by faith. Don't forget, of course, check us out on Instagram and on Facebook. Be in contact with us, because I know even though we strayed a little bit here, but that really helped out. Somebody getting in contact with us, be like, hey, will you talk about peer pressure? That really helped out, because sometimes we have to sit down and think, okay, what are we going to feed these people this time?
Not crawfish.
And so this time it was a little bit easier. So
If you hear that loud noise, it's just the phone.
be in contact with us. Like us and subscribe. Share the podcast. All right, I can't.
Let us know of any upcoming rallies.
Yeah,
We're willing to drive.
I can't reiterate this enough, but you know, if you think somebody else would be interested in listening, get us out there. All right, we're trying to reach as many people as we can with this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the goal. We want to help anyone we can. So, like, subscribe, 5 stars, and Connor,
We're out.
we'll see y'all next time.